So, what is going on YouTube? This is Sam from TeamSamuraiX1 here, and today, guys, Hanko just recently came back from the Montreal regionals.
Yep.
And Hanko, how are you doing today, man?
I'm tired.
You're really tired, and yeah, man, he wanted to showcase his top Montreal regionals Dino Dolls, right?
Yes, I played Dino Dolls instead of FDK and other decks that I could have played.
Why did you decide to play Dino Dolls?
There's actually a bunch of reasons why I chose to play Dino Dolls rather than Magician FDK and all sorts of other decks. It's number one was the there's like a couple of factors. Number one was the what's it called? The deck was good. The deck concept, the strategy, that it, like this one, you're just getting a Conductor Tyranno, and Conductor Tyranno wins you the game. Okay, that's a good point. So if it can win the games, that means it's good. Number two was that can compete another point with the number one is that it can compete with the meta with that strategy. So that's also really good. Number two was that the mirror matches. Less prevalent. Like I don't get to play that many Dino mirror matches. I could play Magician like FTK and all those, but then like I don't want to play mirror matches because they're not. I don't feel comfortable in them. They don't feel very fun at all to me. And the third one was that everyone else wanted to go first, so I gambled and I'm like, all right, I'll play a deck that really is really good at going second.
Right.
And throughout the tournament, I've only went first once, and it was the very last game against the worst matchup, True Draco. So I understand that when I choose this deck, I'm like, I don't want to play against True Draco, and there are lots of True Dracos in the room, but hopefully I'll do fine. And you know what? I did, and it worked out. So
okay.
I'm glad that happened.
All right, awesome. So Hanko, without further ado, let's just start with the deck profile, man.
So let's just go with the first key cards of the deck. Fossil Dig, obviously, Eroda. It searches for Oviraptor. So the whole point of this deck is to use Oviraptor or anything to dump Quatless. I only play 2 Quatless. Sometimes I regret playing 3, but to be honest, it's like I wish I could play 3 but never draw multiples of this. That's right. But then obviously that can't happen. So I chose to only play 2. And like at times I do miss the third one because I really want to recycle everything and play it, but then obviously I'm just being really greedy at that point. But 2 is a good number. Like I like to use the first one to dump it to search for the pill, which you obviously play 3 of. This is the best card in the deck. It's what makes this deck playable, yes, winnable and whatnot. And the fact that you can only activate this once per turn makes it so that when you grind through monsters that negate activation, you can play like multiples of this. And not only that, but it's also like technically a combo extender with your normal summon with Giant Rex, so you can make your normal summon better. Right. So like it just does a lot of things.
One question: how often did you bring out Overtex Quatless using the pill? Do you usually bring out the Tyranno, or do you bring out Quatless?
When the situation and the matchup calls for it, I usually do bring out the Conductor Tyranno because Conductor Tyranno is basically a dark hole or Raigeki for your opponent, or Book of Eclipse essentially.
The best boss monster, right?
Yeah. Since like this deck has no problem dealing with monster boards, but when the matchup calls for it and your opponent has like powerful spell and traps, you do sometimes want to get a Quatless. Even though it's only got a 27 stat, it's still decent. But the once per turn negate and spell trap is sometimes relevant. Like in the Trickster matchup, when they don't have that many monsters, you want to negate their like Scapegoat end phase, or when you want to play against True Draco and you're in a grind matchup, you have to play this. So it comes up like once every other matchup. Anyway, but usually you don't want to get a Conductor Tyranno because it's basically BLS. It does a lot of damage. It has a stun effect. It has a disruption effect. Like this card is by far the best card in the deck. I was only gonna play 2 in the start, like when I was starting to test this. But then shout out to Eric Dalton. He was like, "You gotta play 3, Hanko," and I was like, "Okay, I'll play the third one." And it comes up a lot when you either want to pitch this, so that way you can banish it for the Conductor Tyrannos and whatnot. So it's like just having dinosaur types is a resource in this deck. So the more dinosaurs you play, the more you can have in the grave to summon Conductor Tyrannos. So that's why you want to max out on the best card in your deck, and obviously the best searcher in your deck.
So these are your starter cards, basically.
Yeah, these are like the cards to get Evolution Pill. Like all these cards get you Evolution Pill, essentially. Nice. So of course, along with Foolish Burial, which gets you any card, it's just like a staple. And Shaddoll Fusion. So I'm playing Dino Dolls because this card
is a 1 card.
There's a 1 card combo to get it, this and that, and it's amazing. Obviously with Winda, it's a good like soft lock strategy, but like it's just that the thing is that this is the reason why I chose this deck is because there were a lot of Pendulum players. So this deck has a very good matchup against Pendulums, in my opinion, because of how they're relying on monster boards. These cards are really strong going second against them, especially when I draw multiple copies of them. They negate activation, so therefore I can play another copy of it.
Nice.
So I felt like I was comfortable in the Pendulum matchup, even though unfortunately I only played 1 Pendulum matchup. I wanted to play more, but unfortunately that did not come up. Anyway, so these cards are all just like
How often did you resolve Shaddoll Fusion?
going
second.
Going second. I didn't get to use the dumping from the deck effect because I played a lot more like trickster matchups and rogue matchups. But maybe like throughout the regional, I maybe resolved it like the dumping from the deck effect maybe like 2 or 3 times, but not as much as I did in playtesting, unfortunately. So anyway, these are like all your starter cards. These are like the most broken cards going second, including miscellaneous source. Like miscellaneous sources with Fossil Dig is like the best card going second. So anyway, it's almost like playing Mech Knight Invokes, but Soling your Raptor to double evolution pill is almost like a Alistair, except that you don't get your Alistair back. You have no, like, this deck has the weakness of this deck is not only relying on graveyard effects, but the lack of follow-ups. Like, you don't have like a diagram to create a follow-up, or like you don't have a miscellaneous usually with 4 in the grave and whatnot. Like, there's not enough resource for miscellaneous to Raptor to have a consistent follow-up. Anyway, so these are like the one-offs that I play, including like these are like answer cards. Like they answer like one monster, problem solving, and obviously this is also a problem solving card, but also an extender at times to bring out another monster. And Giant Rex is obviously like a trick clown, but it's really big, really good in the trickster matchup. These are like the one-offs. Like I wouldn't change any of these. Monster Reborn is like another OV Raptor. Or if I've summoned the Conducted Tyranno properly, I can bring it back and whatnot. So like these cards are all broken, including the Foolish, obviously. Then I played 6 hand traps. I chose these 6 in particular because they were like, it's a regional
most versatile, right?
Yes, they were most versatile for a regional format tournament. Ash hits everything, even including the new Pendulum builds where they play a Pendulum Call or the Mythical Beast. So, and not only that, but it also stops the FDK if they didn't hard draw the Instant Fusion, and as well as draw Lockbird. If they didn't hard draw the Instant Fusion, then I have a chance with these 6 hand traps. And I didn't want to. Like, and not only that, but like I chose this deck especially because of how the double evolution pill really blends well with the hand traps because they're not dinosaurs, so like they make them very cost effective. Other than that, like I definitely I was playing Ghost Reaper in the main like a while ago because I felt like I needed more advantages against pendulum matchups, and they were very popular in my area. But then and they not only that, but they also blended well with Fuller Darkness. But it's just that. I just wanted something more for Rogue, and obviously Ash solves that problem.
And like this format is just very diverse too, right?
Yes.
So diverse. This format is amazing.
Like Ash is like one of the only outs to a double evolution pill, so like you just gotta play. Like this card stops a lot of cards that normally other cards cannot stop. So yeah, next we go to like these filler cards. They're not really filler sometimes, but Alert Darkness makes your hand less cloggy because the next cards I'm going to show you are the cloggy cards. These are the 6 Shaddoll monsters I play. But these are all the cards that solve your hand. It makes your deck a little bit more consistent, and the ratios of 6 and 5, like these numbers are very refined, in my opinion. But hand destruction. Shout out to Eric Dalton yet again because he reminded me how amazing this card is. But at the same time, this card's like really iffy because how going second, if your opponent like empties their hand with Card of Demise or like Pendulum Magician putting their hand on the board, this card it becomes a blank, a dead card. But at the same time, when you're going like when they force you to go first, this is probably one of the best cards to have going first because it gives you information as well as ramping. You can like pitch 2 cards that are good in the grave, and then you get more effects, and it fuels your grave for a double evolution pill, essentially for making it more cost effective. But and also when you're going second, there's a lot more interaction with this card when like against certain matchups like tricksters and forcing an Ash, or even like making it so that they lose their Droll and Lockbird in their hand or whatever. So there's some really tricky interactions, like even against True Draco, when they bounce the spirit monster to hand with the Maiden, and then you activate something so that Maiden would add a Masterpiece, then they try to use a trap to tribute summon, you chain this. That way they lose not only the spirit monster and a Masterpiece, but like then if they don't draw
monster,
then I'm like, wow, that's a clear way. So yeah, these cards are really nice. Usually I side out one of the other outs, but the ratio is fine. And I definitely would usually side out hand destructions because they're really bad going second if they know how to play around it by not having 2 cards in their hand. Anyway, so these are the 6 Shaddoll monsters I play. These are all bricks. I hate these cards. So hence why I don't like playing this deck actually. Like these are like Beast is a level 5 monster, so obviously sucks. Shaddoll Dragon was probably the best one out of all of them, even though it sometimes is the worst one because of how decks don't play back row. Falco was only there because there's a combo where you can Shaddoll Fusion into Winda and then use Hedgehog to add Falco and normal summon Falco to make a Black Rose. That's really his only role. And Skomata is also here just to fuel for a double evolution pill because it's just you dump him and then dump another, so you have more non-dinosaurs in your deck. So the reason why I only played I played 2 Hedgehog over 2 of anything else is because there's a possible chance that you just set this and then use a Shaddoll Fusion, and not only that, but it also you need more cards in your hand for Conductor Tyranno and hand destruction. So like Hedgehog fulfills that role essentially. So the ratio was just fine, like 2 and 1 of each. I side these out a lot though because I hate Shaddoll monsters.
Awesome.
Especially the True Draco matchup.
So that's pretty much for the main deck.
Yes, not much I would really change the main deck. Maybe like the 6 hand traps. I might change Duel and Lockbird because it wasn't as good as I thought. Even though like every deck plays Terraforming, every deck plays like cards that search. So like I felt like this was diverse enough, but I either wasn't drawing it enough or it just wasn't very well.
Okay.
But I don't know. We'll figure that out another time. Extra deck.
Extra deck. Yeah.
Unfortunately, throughout the regional, I didn't play too many cards that I thought I would be, like Underclock Taker. Like this card was really good in playtesting, but for some reason at regional I never made it, even though in playtesting I always did. So it was weird. But anyway, 2 Windas, 1 Shekanaga. Not gonna really change the ratio on that. Borreload never made it at regional, but it should come up. Deco Talker was the last edition, but this card should have been a Gustav Max. Because
Gustav Max?
Yeah, it should have been a Gustav Max.
Oh,
because you can make it with 2 level 10s with either Shekanaga or the Conductor Tyrannos, and I would have won games faster if I had a Gustav Max. So this card was a mistake. Anyway, I never made this card. I made this card once against Lightsworn deck. I made this card once to get rid of Purple Poison, I think. Made this card a couple times against Tricksters. Made this card once against Crystal Wing. Made this card once. Made this card a couple times, and this card a lot actually. This card mostly was this card and this card was I made it like maybe like 2 or 3 times. Okay. So anyway, extra deck wouldn't change much beside the Gustav Max, and maybe like more if I play Ghost Reaper, I play Ghost Reaper targets.
All right.
Sure.
Side deck.
Yeah, side deck. Like the side deck, I wouldn't really change much. I think it was fine, maybe. 3-line CF for the mirror matches, ABC invoked, and apparently Gemini FTK. Pretty good card. I could skip a turn, and skipping the turns are pretty good. Ghost Ogre is my other hand trap. This card's, if you're not maining it, you have to side it at least, but I felt like I wasn't good enough to main because it's not good against Tricksters. So I sided it because Pendulum FTK is a thing, and a lot of rogue decks lose to this card apparently. So yep, evenly matched Twin Twister, Denko Sekka is how I side against the any deck that plays heavy back row. I would side these 9 cards in. So like, obviously, like I have a terrible matchup against True Draco, so these come up a lot. But I'm really iffy on this card when I play against True Draco because they play around it really easily by just shotgunning everything, and especially they're just floodgates. But against decks that rely on Solemn Strike and board wipe, like Paleos, and I played against a Tellarknight actually around 6, and it was one of the good players in Montreal. So I had to play this card, and it was really good when I drew it. But against like a lot of just back row decks, because obviously my deck, the concept is that the Conductor Tyranno beats any monster except Masterpiece. So essentially I have no problem dealing with monsters, but I have trouble dealing with back row. So that's why you need to have so much back row hate. Choose Twin Twister over Cosmic because it feels grave for the pill. Other than that, I don't know. I'm still iffy about this card, but other than that, like nothing else would really be changing in my sideboard.
All right.
Had a good tournament overall.
All right, awesome, Hanko. Anything else you want to say before we sign off this deck profile?
Yeah, like I want to give a shout out to my friend David Green for letting me stay at his place. Thank you very much. And we had a lot of fun on Friday, Saturday, Friday and Saturday was really fun. We had dinner and whatnot. It's fun. Shout out to Tuan Pham for winning the regional somehow with X01 score with BA, and shout out to Siobhan for almost winning the regional. Shout out to Kevin Liu for being there. Shout outs to Eric Dalton, definitely, because he helped me with the deck a little bit, except I told him hand traps are good, and he was like, hand traps are bad. What's it called? Shout outs to Michael Walters playtesting with me sometimes, and I destroy him when I play Dino Dolls. Let me just think of this. Yeah, that's really it, I think. Maybe shout out to anybody who supports me. Thanks for playtesting with me and like listening to me and whatnot. That's really it. And
All right,
thanks for,
Hanko.
oh yeah, wait. Thanks for Sam. All right, Sam. He lent me this Utopia Lightning actually.
Yeah, man.
This is Sam's Utopia Lightning. I borrowed it from him, and thanks for lending me that one evenly match. And then, but just in case I didn't get one myself, and I did eventually. So shoutouts to that. Oh yeah, shoutouts to you. Also lent me these common Shaddoll monsters.
No worries, bro.
Yeah.
All right, man. This is Sam from Team SamHamTV. Congrats on going your top.
Yeah, thank
All right,
you.
guys. Peace.
I feel like Usain in the cheetah print. Talk fresh game, I don't need a minute. R.I.P. the game, I need a minute. Okay, let's proceed with it. I'm in the house, got the deed with it. These bozos always sneak this and they taking shots. I'm a keen with it, like no, this league business.